Hey everyone. The learning path this week is to help you look at primary source material and work with it, look at sourcing. And this is not for a grade, but I do want you to go through the steps here. So what you have is basically a question, and the question is, what was the nature of Islamic civilization between 1200 and 1450? And then there are three documents. So the idea here is that when you get the skill of looking at these types of sources, you're going to do better on the multiple choice section of the test, because every question on the AP test is assigned to some type of source you have to read. The first two LAQs have sources, the first two SAQs have sources, and the DBQ is all sources. So this is just some practice in that regard. So you keep that question in mind, and you're going to look at three documents. The first document, if you can print this out, that would be great. It will be one of the resources in the learning path. You can print it out and write on it, that's the best. But if you want to just look at it and make notes on your paper, that's fine. So you look at the first document, you look at the source, you try to ask yourself, what is it about this time in history that made this person write things the way that they did? And remember, you're also trying to find what was the nature of Islamic civilization between 1200 and 1450. Then you go to the second source. This one is called document number 2, and you look at the source. Where it says source, it tells you a description of it, and there's a little bit at the bottom, and this is an image. And I want to tell you that on the AP test, it's extremely important to always read the text there. In fact, sometimes there's enough in the text that you don't really have to sit there and analyze the image as much as you would think. They give you the content in the text a lot. So just don't ignore the text there. So you're going to look at the second document and you're going to write down some notes. Remember, two things you need to write here. What does the content from this document tell us about the nature of Islamic civilization? And the other thing is you want to write something about sourcing. Why is it written the way it is? And remember, we looked at two things: historical situation and the author's purpose. Why was this put the way it was? Or what's going on around this in history? And then look at the third one. The third one is extremely interesting. Again, where it says source, this is very important. Even if you can't read some of those words, it's still very important. You don't have to pronounce all the names, but just look at it and try to wrap your mind around the situation in which this was produced. What's going on? And it tells you that where it says source and gives a description. And then mind the content as well and write some notes about that. And then after you've done that, come back and there'll be one more video. I'll walk through an explanation.